What's up, YouTube? I'm launching up the Facebook real quick and then we'll start it up. What's good, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? Appreciate y'all for coming. I have some clips I want to show you from today's protests in Washington, D.C. There have been protests against the mandates around the world, and I just want to show you a few clips I found interesting. Then also talk about why this was so huge and, something, an angle that I think a lot of people aren't talking about that's very fascinating to me, which is Robert Malone, the doctor who was on Joe Rogan's podcast, who really helped spur this protest and make it enormous, how he really took censorship and blasted it back in the face of big tech more than anyone I've ever seen. It's backfired spectacularly, excuse my, slipping up. And why this is huge, not just for a physical protest, people hanging out, getting together, giving each other confidence, seeing that they're not alone, but really the impact this has on censorship. Because if everybody could have as much success as Robert Malone, when they censor you, your message gets, 100,000 times bigger. It is going to be a lot more difficult to shut us up. And that's why we're branching out. Say what you want, but you have Gab, you have Getter, although I think they're not really doing the right thing there, but that's okay. You have Joe Rogan, etc. Tim Pool, whether you like these people or not, I'm sure you have a favorite. I'm sure you don't. But if we all can create our own news sources, get some sort of power, make our own media companies, get big on certain media companies, show certain media companies that we bring value to them. And if they treat us a certain way, we're going to leave, etc. Let them compete against each other. You have Spotify competing against YouTube, etc. This is super, super huge because, I've never seen censorship backfire so spectacularly. And this was the physical manifestation of that. So let's play some clips. These are just the crowd size. And I want to say, because independent journalism is important. And these clips are from Ford Fisher and BG on the Scene. So if you're on any social media, look up Ford Fisher. I believe it's FISCHER, and then BG on the Scene. They're two really great independent journalists who do a lot of good work all over the place. Also, shout out Jorge Ventura. I see he was there doing some stuff. So this is where the clips are from. I like to fully credit them and also give you guys a shout out, because every time we have independent journalists on the scene, citizen journalists doing their own thing, the more the merrier, the bigger, the stronger. Of course, people are competitive in some cases, but really the competition is the people versus the sickos at the top who do not want us to really get this information out there. So shout out to everybody doing their thing. Hopefully everybody can gain a big following and, disseminate this information. Check it out. Here's the crowd sizes. And then we can listen to some doctors that were there as well. I got some clips of doctors. Can y'all see that? Here's one clip, and then I got another one, like DJ Khaled said. Thank you guys. Almost 4,000 on Facebook. I appreciate y'all. So pretty big numbers. You see that? That's a pretty big crowd right there. I want to say, and I'm going to play the clip of the doctors. I think Robert Malone and Joe Rogan, if you haven't, this is not an advertisement for Spotify, but I do have Spotify. They banned my friend Bryson Gray's song, so I'm not a huge fan of Spotify with the little censorship. But anyway, if you haven't heard the Robert Malone episode on Joe Rogan's podcast, it's worth a listen. Don't listen to what the media says about it. Oh my God, anti-vaxxer, right-wing conspiracy theories. It's two partisan people. You have Dr. Robert Malone, who was in on the technology of mRNA. He claims he has patents and he claims that he helped invent it. The media says he did it, but one thing that they both agree on is Robert Malone was in the lab generating, innovating this mRNA technology. So he's not anti-vaxxer. He helped, make the foundation to eventually lead to mRNA vaccines. You have Joe Rogan, who's like a classic Bernie Sanders liberal who just got fed up with the left because they're too crazy. And they sat together and just had a raw, unfettered conversation for 2 to 3 hours. And that's what ticks off the media. And I know people that were here that were right wing. I know people here that were left wing, because Robert Malone and Rogan didn't do it in a partisan way. They didn't make it a big political scene. They just talked about what they thought about the authoritarian mandates, etc. This really, for the first time in 2 years, united I'm not going to say all of the left and all of the right, but this made the first really big protest in America. I believe it's the biggest one so far, to really stand against this medical tyranny. So that's what it is. And I want to play this clip with the doctors real quick, because they play this, they write these articles and they say, we have a couple hundred doctors against Joe Rogan. And then you look at these doctors and it's not like the top ones, but whatever. I don't want to knock people who are not like top doctors. You don't have to work at the NIH to be a good doctor. Even if you're a chiropractor, I want to hear your perspective anyway. But in general, it's like, listen to how many doctors there are that don't agree with the narrative. And I'm not saying that these are the be all end all either, but when the left are, the anti, I would say anti common sense people, like pro establishment people, they're like, oh, you just listen to podcasts and you don't listen to doctors. It's like, not all doctors agree with the government. Not all doctors are bought out by the media. Not all doctors sit there and say, I've never had a critical thought in my life. It's like, have you ever heard of the food pyramid? Have you ever heard of the Bayer, HIV crisis? Have you ever heard of the oral polio vaccine in Africa a couple years ago, mainstream AP? Google any of this stuff. It's like big pharma is not flawless. The government is not flawless. The FDA is not flawless. The CDC is not flawless. You look at chronic diseases, they're on the rise, diabetes, obesity. There's a lot of things that they could nip in the bud that they don't seem to really give a crap about, many of which include diet, exercise, good health, and taking these crappy ingredients out of our food that are illegal in Europe that they just don't seem to really ever talk about. But, I don't want to die. I don't want to talk too much. I talk enough. Lord knows that. Especially on this nice Sunday. Let's listen to some doctors for a second, right? Anomaly, shut up. I want to listen to the doctors. All right, I got some doctors for you.
We are not one doctor. We are 17,000 doctors. That's more than the NIH, more than the CDC, and more than the FDA.
Yeesh.
These are all signed and verified. There are powerful forces against us, as you know. The news media. Does anybody trust the trusted news media?
Boo!
Do you trust the CDC and the FDA?
Boo! Real quick, I just want to read a super chat. Thank you, Denise. She said real quick, the cavalry is coming to save us in Canada. Peaceful trucker protest ending in a bear hug at Parliament Hill, staying until the end of the mandates and the lockdown. Thank you for what you've done for truth. Thank you, Denise. And real quick, I wanted to say, boo, Joe Biden. Joe Biden's trying to apparently block unvaccinated truckers from Mexico and Canada. Just what we need in a supply chain crisis. More truckers blocked. Can you believe this buffoon? All right, let's let the doctors talk. Thank you for the super chat.
Do you trust Fauci?
Boo!
All right.
Okay.
We've been fired, censored, erased from Wikipedia, but we're standing strong because we are with you.
Yeah, me? Oh, thanks, bro.
So
Appreciate
today,
you,
again, we represent 17,000 doctors and scientists and humanity. We have three virtually indisputable recommendations backed by high-quality data. And I have one ask for you today.
Hold on. I'm like, what's this guy gonna say? Are you gonna get me banned, Mr. Doctor? Because I perform on these authoritarian platforms. I'm like, he's like, one more thing. I'm like, bro, don't say. And I'm just kidding. I wouldn't censor him. I'm just like, what's he gonna say? I'm not even sure. I don't think I listened to it the whole way.
Today, you're gonna hear the truth.
Okay. All right.
And I ask you to have courage and join us to help our future generations resist this tyranny.
All right. Okay, that's it. I thought he was going to pull something and get me in trouble. He was like, and by the way, we never landed on the moon. I'm like, dude, come on, dog. We're talking about vaccines here. We're talking about mandates. Why you got to talk about the moon landing? He's like, Buzz Aldrin's a drunk. I'm like, bro, come on. Don't come on. Not on my stream today. We're trying to keep it to strictly science. We're trying to keep it to strict. I'm just playing. I was just thinking in my head how funny that would be if he just like threw that out. He's like, it's a hoax. It's made of cheese. You're like, all right, dog, come on. There's another time for that. Jokes aside, I don't know. I got a funny head. I got to make things funnier than they are sometimes to keep myself entertained, or else I just get perpetually ticked off because it's like the Truman Show. Every day's the same out here. But I was talking to my buddy and I was like, I'm trying to figure out what people are thinking because I know a lot of people aren't thinking. I know there's a lot of propaganda, a lot of false promises, etc. But I figured it out. Well, not really, because everybody's different, but a lot of people think that it's the people that are unmasked and unvaccinated and don't want to get a booster shot every 4, 5, 6 months. They've been brainwashed by Psaki, Biden, the media, Fauci, etc. They just keep pushing these, pumping these them with, oh, these are the reason you can't get back to normal. It's the people not wearing the masks. It's the people not getting the vaccine. That's why you can't go back to normal. In reality, it's really the exact opposite. If you ever get lucky enough to go back to what you used to go in 2019, if we're even lucky, if we haven't gone too far down authoritarian dystopia, it's going to be the people who don't comply who are the reason that you got there. Because the analogy I always used, if this was a vaccine that provided 100% immunity, you got it, nobody got the disease, it disappeared, then maybe there would be a conversation. I'm still not pro forced vaccine, especially for this, but for anything really. But in general, it's like you might have actually some sort of science on your side. But when everybody who gets this thing can still get sick, you don't really have the science on your side saying, oh, if you don't listen to this, it's like if I don't wear a mask for 3 seconds and sit down in a restaurant and take it off, if I don't wear a mask on a plane, but then I take it off to eat for an hour and put it back on, if I go to, Las Vegas, they allow me to take my mask off to smoke a cigarette. I can't take my mask off to breathe air and do push-ups, but I could take my mask off to smoke a cigarette in Las Vegas. You like, are people really that dumb? These people have conned you. Don't be mad at your neighbor. Don't be mad at Joe Rogan. Don't be mad at Alex Jones. You can be mad at Alex Jones, but in general, it's like, it's not his fault really on this one. It's the people who lied to you. They gaslighted you. The analogy I always try to use is Lucy with the football. Charlie Brown always tries to kick the football. She always pulls it. She always pulls it. She always pulls it. If you keep trying to kick the football, you lose the game because you're never going to kick it. That's the trick. And we figured this out some 2 years ago, some a year ago. Some people got 2 shots, 3 shots. It took them for their kids to get vaccinated or somebody they know something to happen. And now they're starting to realize it. And that's all good. It's not a game of I told you so, but we did tell you so. But in general, that's never helpful. But it is, reward, I guess, makes you feel good sometimes. But anyway, everybody's starting to figure out that that's the game that they're playing, because every single goalpost that they gave you, as soon as you did what they told you to do, they took it away and moved it. And that's who they are. They are Lucy with the football. This is the same FDA and CDC, maybe different revolving door leaders, but the people that told you about the food pyramid, decades of corruption with opioid crisis. We have a fentanyl crisis. We have kids dying at rapid rates. You have life expectancy going backwards, chronic illness going up, diabetes, heart disease, cancer. So many things are not getting better. This country is not like wildly healthy. Our life expectancy is going backwards. We're not a healthy country anymore. We're going backwards. We've been going backwards for years. It's because of the FDA, the CDC, these companies that have become glorified vaccine sales companies and big pharma companies instead of full-scale health. In full-scale health, there's room for medicine, there's room for diet and exercise, and there's room for some sort of pharmaceuticals or some sort of medicine. But they're like 100% focused on that and 0% focused on anything else. They gaslighted and censored people like Alex Berenson for talking about natural immunity, just to then 6 months later say, oh, now the Delta studies are in. Yeah, I guess that natural immunity is stronger than someone who's vaccinated. That's not me. That's Reuters. That's CDC direct data from New York and California. They're saying if you got natural immunity from the first coronavirus and then Delta came, you were way more naturally immune and had more immunity than somebody who's vaccinated who never got sick. And you got banned for so your enemy is not your unvaccinated friend or family member. Your enemy is Lucy with the football, who is these people on television, these puppets on cable news, these artists, many of which who are paid off by big pharma, the number one lobbyist in Washington. Who do you think pays off the Democrats? Who do you think pays off the Republicans? Who do you think paid off every single person in that Senate race? Oh, I'm going to vote for Purdue. Oh, I'm going to vote for Ossoff. Oh, I'm going to vote for Warsaw. Yeah, look at them. They're all on the lobbying list of people who got, money from big pharma. They're buying everybody off. So, a lot of this is not organic or authentic. A lot of this is pay to play. On that note, I want to say real quick before I get on too big of a tangent, because once again, on this Sabbath, the Lord knows I could go on a rant. What's really important about this, besides the fact, yes, it's a protest, you're showing that you're out there, you're meeting people, giving each other confidence. You realize you're not alone. It's a beautiful thing to be amongst a great event like today. I wasn't there, but I know what it's like to be at an event where you're around like-minded people. But the real big takeaway for me is the biggest thing that came out of this, and I'm not trying to downplay what everybody's doing. Everybody plays their part. Without you, there is nothing. There is no one person. But really, to me, the biggest thing that's happened over the last couple of weeks is Robert Malone, who really helped usher all the people to the Capitol. He was the big like catalyst for this event, I believe, in getting everybody there. He has defeated censorship in a way that has never happened in recent history. I'm not going to say never, but in the last 2-3 years, nobody has backfired the censorship like Robert Malone. They've banned Donald Trump. Donald Trump's been very quiet. Maybe a better thing because the news is failing. The media, CNN, MSNBC, they don't really have anything without him. So in a weird way, it's not a bad idea to lay low. I don't know what he's doing, but he didn't really make it backfire too hard. Alex Jones did pretty well when he got censored, but like a lot of people get censored and it's hard to compete when you're not on Twitter, you're not on Facebook. Robert Malone's podcast is like the biggest podcast ever. He took the censorship like a Goku Super Saiyan, threw it back in their face, and his message got bigger than anything. I think it's the most viral thing of the year so far. That's a great thing for anti-censorship. Now they have to really think, do I want to censor this person? Because it didn't work for Robert Malone. It kind of worked for Alex Jones, not really. Kind of worked for Trump a little bit. Like some people, they do their thing. Everybody tries hard. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. got censored, and then he had a #1 book on Amazon. He helped throw it back in their face a little too, but nothing like the Robert Malone podcast. I mean, this literally spurred the biggest protest in our country in 2 years in under a month, and he got millions of people to listen to this podcast. That's fantastic. You should give it a listen. This is really, really good and really, really important because now they're going to have to think twice. Remember what happened when we censored Robert Malone? It didn't shut his message up. It kind of just made it times 1,000, times 100,000. Like that backfired and gave him more attention. So this is important, and this is why Joe Rogan's so important. Some people like him. I do. I like his podcast. Some people don't like him. Whatever. The fact that he has a huge platform, bigger than the media, when someone gets kicked off, to be like, hey, I'm going to have Eric Weinstein on. Hey, I'm going to have Robert Malone on. That's enormous. That means, Twitter doesn't really have power anymore. Yeah, you kicked him off, but now I'm going to give him an even bigger platform. So these type of things. And if you don't like Joe Rogan or Robert Malone or whoever, because I know there's going to be some people, oh my God, he's a shill, whatever, then make your own, be inspired to create your own platform, get your own power, get your own voice. And I'm not being condescending. I'm saying, seriously, do it. Then you can fill in the gaps. You know what I'm saying? You can grow an audience. Like when Alex Jones got banned, he created band.video. Band.video is his own social media platform, and they do pretty damn well. Gab got kicked off the Apple Store. You can't get the app. Gab is in the top 2,000 websites in all of the world. They're killing it. So it's like, they bought their own servers. They got their own payment processor when they get kicked off payment processors. So this is beautiful to see finally people making their own platforms, competing with big tech and taking the censorship and throwing it right back in their face to the point where they're really going to have to think twice. Do I want to censor this much? And this is, what I know a lot of people like Rogan has become this big thing, right? Like Rogan's the talk of the whole country and a lot of people love him. A lot of people appreciate him. Some people think he's controlled or whatever, but like really what Joe's showing, whether you love him or not, is that there's a real decision to be had. If Facebook doesn't have the biggest, platform, they don't have as much power. Their power comes from us using them. Their power comes from the data that they just rake from us. Their power comes from the fact that we spend so much time on there and they get so much ad revenue. Now Spotify took a huge chunk from that, right? So, I'm gonna censor Joe Rogan. Well, he just took $100 million something deal for Spotify, and now Spotify is taking a huge chunk of the podcasting network, and people are listening to podcasts. Nobody likes the news anymore. Like Tucker Carlson's the best person on television, and even his numbers are getting trumped by a Rogan. So this is the future. You guys could poo-poo us and talk shit on us. No one cares about you. When they wrote a hit piece on me in NPR, nobody cares. Like somebody showed me that likes me because believe it or not, I have a lot of right wingers. Yes, I have a lot of conservatives. Yes, I have a lot of libertarians. But because of my energy, who I am, etc., I have a lot of people. So I have people who listen to NPR. They told me, Anomaly, they're lying about you in NPR. No, besides the person who likes me, who told me, nobody else told me because nobody gives a crap about NPR. So you write this stupid article that probably gets a couple hundred clicks or something. Chelsea Clinton shares it. A few mainstream journalists and like elite, people share it and they're like, oh my God. But like, really, no one cares. Like no one's reading the article like, oh, is the M&M anti-Semitic, the orange M&M? Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but that was like a literal article in this like, feminist Jewish magazine, like, oh, I think the orange, M&M is Jewish. And it's just like this type of journalism. No, it's not like blowing people's minds. People want like an intellectual discussion, something funny, something interesting. Like we have a lot of options. So, outside of their screaming every time something happens that they don't want, they don't really have as much power. Nobody really cares about their stuff. They don't have this massive audience, and they're jealous, and they're trying to use, public health and buzzwords to take the power back, and they really don't have it. But now you have, people seeing how much money that, Spotify's making with Joe Rogan. A lot of these people that are edgier, they now have more sponsors than they used to, because there's certain companies that are willing to, roll the dice. Okay, well, let's just try it. We're not afraid of getting canceled anymore. Let's try it. So let's keep this movement going. I know the protests, it's always great to get around people, not comply, and really like see each other in person. But let's keep driving this momentum to throw censorship back in their face like Robert Malone did. Wake people up and let people know they're not alone, and really play your role and play your part, because the football's been taken away 100 times. You have countries all over the world making Joe Biden look really bad. America is supposed to be the freedom capital of the world. Say what you want about Trump. He didn't always make the right move, but he had that sort of energy. Like he might have not always done that, but he's like, hey, we're going to, he did an okay job at keeping our freedom, not in 2020, but it's like, and freedom's important. Like Joe Biden is this whole new brand of like, it doesn't matter. Let's kick out the truckers. Like this dude is garbage. And he's getting embarrassed on a national scale. Despite Trump's shortcomings, there's no way Trump is blocking unvaccinated truck drivers. There's no way Trump is like forcing federal mandates. He wouldn't have done that. So we need to keep this momentum and make sure everybody knows what's going on. And I saw Kim Iverson, who I don't really consider left or right. I don't know what she is, but she's The Hill journalist. She said she's voting all Republican. I had a big talk with my Bernie Sanders supporting friend the other day, who's like a left winger, further left than like Hillary. And he didn't say he was voting all Republican, but he's like, yeah, like there's not a single Democrat who's on our side. Like I think he's going to vote Republican, and that's not to say Republicans are perfect, but we need to let people know there's only one side of politics right now that's pushing back against the mandates. That's the right wing, and a lot of left wingers are inspired by Robert Malone because his message is not so partisan. It's not so, one-sided politically. It's just like these mandates are authoritarian. And it's true. I just thought of a way to call it, because some people call it's fascism. It's, it reminds me of Hitler. It reminds me of Stalin. Everyone's got it's communist. It's whatever. I know the left likes to call it fascist. The right likes to call it communist. I think one thing that people can agree on, it's authoritarian, and it's immoral authoritarianism. It's not moral. It's not just, it's not scientific. It's not going to stop the transmission of a sickness that clearly isn't going to be stopped, because millions of people who are getting this product are still getting sick. So how in the world is banning, unvaccinated truck drivers going to really, blow this thing out of the water? I think a lot of people are starting to wake up. The momentum's on our side. Most people are starting to get nervous, I think, to say something, because the fringe left is so really rude and bullying. I think this happened during the Trump era. A lot of people that watch my platform have already experienced it, because if you came out and said, I'm not really like, I'm not interested in what the left's doing now, you had a lot of like bullies and people call you all sorts of names. So I think most people are on our side when it comes to getting back to normal, not just caving to mandates all the time, not living in an authoritarian dystopian world. It's just a lot of people are afraid to say something because they're afraid of getting bullied by friends, families, colleagues, etc. So I think this protest was a good way to bring people together, to show them they're not alone, and hopefully more people have courage to really push back against it. We'll see what happens. And I don't really know. I mean, I want to say this real quick too. Like Robert Malone just kind of made a scene, went on Joe Rogan. He didn't do it in a crazy way, but it's like he just took his censorship and made sure he made the most of it and got his message out there. That's kind of what I do personally, like in the grocery store. I'm not trying to tell people what to do, because I don't want to be responsible for anything, but I'm not this type, I'm just going to keep doing it and then it'll go away. It's not going away. I'm trying to talk to people around, like, sometimes it takes a leader to be like, hey, I was thinking of that, but I didn't know you could do that. And Robert Malone's really helping with that. I know Robert Kennedy helped with that for a while. And hopefully people are starting to realize that and do something, because it's just getting weird. Two things real quick, and then I'll answer a few questions. I was watching ESPN by a mistake yesterday after a football game, and they had a top 10. And the number one highlight was the Special Olympics, which is nice. I think that's a nice thing. What wasn't nice was the dude, like all the kids. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. All the kids, I don't know if they were teenagers or in their 20s, but all the Special Olympics athletes, to be more correct, they were all wearing masks while they were playing basketball. This is something that people don't do in the NBA. You don't wear masks. Like they're abusing the crap out of these Special Olympic kids or adults. This is sick. Like these people are playing a sport that they're already kind of impaired, and you're putting a cloth mask over their face while they're playing basketball. Like these people, I don't know how people can just sit around and be like, I'll just shut my mouth so I don't get. I'm like, no, you guys are some sicko abusers. Like these kids are, challenged, for lack of a better word, and you're strapping a cloth to their face while they play sports. Go to hell, you tyrants. I saw a picture on Twitter today of a second grade class, and they didn't even let them take off their mask to smile for the camera. They're just taking their yearbook picture with a mask on. It looks like a foreign country conquered America and enslaved the children. This is what that picture looks like. It looks like we're enslaved by a foreign country, like we're under an authoritarian slave regime and they've enslaved our children. Wake the hell up, folks. You know what I'm saying? This isn't like, it's been 2 years of this shit. Some people don't even remember what it's like to have a face or have a smile. These kids are so far psychologically abused. They're going to have the issues of somebody who beat their kids or who grew up in an orphanage with no parents and abusive upbringing. And I'm not trying to downplay, because there's great orphans, and my childhood wasn't 100% perfect either. I'm not trying to demonize anything, but it's like, this is abuse. So you guys are abusing the crap out of these Special Olympic kids, abusing the children. We've been talking about it for 2 years. I hate to sound like a broken record. Wake the hell up, because it ends when you end it. And if you look real quick, just for a little bit of inspiration, if you look at the places that comply the most, who's the most compliant? New York City, or Seattle, Los Angeles. These are the people with the businesses enforcing the most, the people listening the most. Where is the least free place in America? All the places that are following these rules. The freest places in America are places that haven't been listening to your bullshit for over a year and a half. Places like Arizona, places like parts of Texas, Tennessee. These are the places that are free. Las Vegas isn't free. Nashville's free. The places that are free are not the places that listen to Dr. Fauci. The places that are free are not the places that did everything they were told. It's the places that are not listening. This game is not won. You don't go back to normal by listening to people who never let you go back to normal, because they keep moving the carrot on a string in front of your face and you keep chasing it like a cat with a yarn. The people that are free are the people that realize this bullshit game that they're playing and said, you know what? I'm going to make a medical decision. I'm going to take care of myself, and then I'm going to go back to my normal life. That's the only way to go back to normal life. They're gaslighting the crap out of everybody. Oh man, the only way to jump in the ocean is to not jump in the ocean. No, if you want to go back to normal, go back to normal. If you want to go in the ocean, go in the ocean. You don't go in the ocean by sitting with a mask on facing a, brick wall for 3 years. If you do this for a year, I'll let you go in the ocean. If you do it for another year, year 5. If you keep, no. That's not how any of this works. It's so obvious. A lot of media people are starting to realize it. I don't know exactly why. But I think it's just like at a certain point, people have to be miserable, right? I don't like, if you followed all these rules. I mean, I didn't listen to these idiots, but I'm not doing that bad. But if you listen to them, like Barry Weiss and Bill Maher, like it's depressing. You're living like an abused circus animal. You know what I'm saying? You're living like you got captured by a foreign country and they've enslaved you, and you're doing it to yourself because you've been told that doing that is going to make your immune system better, and doing that's going to make you healthier. And you're starting to realize that it's dragging on. I'm not sure. Someone said Arkansas is free. Congrats, Arkansas. Caroline said you are definitely a broken record. Slow it down. I'm sorry, Caroline. I will try to slow down and say some unique content just for you. Sorry, my record got broken, Caroline. I apologize. I'll make sure I go slower for you. Facepalm said the kids look like they're held hostage. Totally, it's disgusting. Yeah, it does look like a hostage pick. Sorry if I missed a super chat. I'm known to miss a lot. Sorry. This ain't the Tim Pool show. I'm a one man show with no idea how to operate this stuff. No, Steven, thank you. Jennifer, thank you. Thomas, thank you. Chris, thank you. Donna, thank you. Rich, thank you. Trenton, thank you. Jeff, thank you. Selene, thank you. John, thank you. Luann said, thanks for sharing the truth. Thank you, Luann. Austin said, please mention over 150,000 trucks rolling into Ottawa over the mandates from all over Canada. Over 2 million raised on a GoFundMe page. Congratulations. God bless Canada. Yo, truckers are so epic. God bless the truckers. Finally, somebody in America with some, or in Canada with some, you know what's. It's like, this is how it, like, I want to give you guys an example. I know I've said this, but I'm just going to drive it home real quick. Like, I was in a grocery store. They tried to kick me out. I said, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. And I started you think the kid can't talk? I'm out here telling everybody, you're abusing children. You're abusing elders. Wake up, folks. And they offered to give me free stuff. Like, and I didn't take it because I'm a consumer. I'm like, I'm not trying to get free stuff, but people think, oh my God, it's going to be so bad if I stand up for yourself. Maybe, but maybe it's going to be good. Like, I'm making such a scene. I'm such a Karen. They're trying to give me free stuff. They're like, dude, whatever you want, just we want to get rid of you. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right. It's not so fun. I got a big mouth. I don't got a mask on, so you can't shut me up. I'm gonna wake up the whole neighborhood if y'all keep abusing me like that. I'm not a slave. Like, I literally tell them this. I'm not a slave. I'm not a slave, lady. I'm not a slave. Oh, yeah, you wanted to kick me out of the grocery store? Oh, things got real, didn't it, lady? You thought you could just bully me like you bully the elders, didn't you? And I look down because she's like way small. You think you could bully me like you're bullying all these people here? You think you could bully me like you're bullying the children? Oh, you picked the wrong one, Donna. And it's like, excuse me, sir, let's get the manager. I'm like, yeah, let's talk to the manager too. He's like, can I get you thing? Can I get you? I'm like, yeah, get me a kombucha, pay for my crap, take it to my car and stay out of my face. I'm not a slave. No tolerance to be bullied. I don't like bullies. I don't like authoritarians. I don't really like, lettuce that much. If we, kale doesn't taste good unless you cook in the oven. But enough about me. How are you guys feeling? What do you like? Let's see. Someone said, no, we are tax slave peasants have a better life. Yeah, I've called myself this for years. I'm a bougie free range slave, because, when you're like a chicken or something, they're like, oh, you're free range. What does that mean? It means you get to run around and eat grass before they chop your head off and cook you, so it's like you have the life of, you're like a free range chicken. You're like, oh, he's so free range. He's so organic. I'm like, you're still going to chop his head off. I'm a bougie free range slave where it's like, I'm a little bougie. I understand this world's a prison. I'm a tax slave, but live it up. You could steal I got to go even harder now. People are like, why you work so hard? You never take a break. Because they're trying to take 40% of everything I make. And then I buy something, they take 10%. And then I sell something, they take 20%. So I got to work 4-5 times as hard because, first of all, they demonetize my stuff. They don't pay me as much. Nobody wants to run ads on my stuff. So I sell my own products. I'm working against the grain. If I was a gamer or like a makeup artist, like there's chicks on YouTube just doing makeup, everybody wants to just throw money at you. It's like, Toyota, here's $5 million, whatever. Like, please tell me. With me, it's like I'm running laps around these people, but they're like, oh no, he tells the truth. We can only like make the kids stupid. It's like, so I got to work that much harder because I'm a bougie free range slave. If I'm gonna be in the chicken coop, we're gonna turn it up. We're gonna get 2 jack for the gulag, shoot some hoops. We're really gonna ball on these haters. I'm gonna play my slave master one-on-one. I'm like, yo, you could treat me like this, but can you take me to a game of 11? Ones and twos, out of bounds. Take everything back, steals and air balls. Someone said new merch. I know I need to get new merch. I'm probably going to do a sale soon for dreamrare.com. I don't know. I got to figure out things. Sometimes my head's so scrambled. It's like, write a book, do this, make music. And I'm like, do videos, edit this, do that. And then it's like, but also the sun shining. And it's like, go outside, it's sunny outside. You can't just sit inside all day, and then I just got an Xbox and it's like, play me. And I'm like, bro, I got stuff to do. I can't just sit and play video games all day. So I got so many voices all over the place. And then it's like, then I got a banana sitting on the shelf. It's like, you should make a peanut butter smoothie, So I do want to do all this stuff, but I get pulled in so many ways. And then I'm just like, what? I don't know what to do. So I just keep doing videos. Someone said writing a book's a good. I wrote it. I just got to finish the editing process. It's like, oh my gosh, it's such a to-do. At least on here, I could like stumble on a word. It doesn't matter if I stumble on a word and publish it, 2 words, 2 periods. I'm gonna look like a damn doofus. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta edit my book. Such a hassle, but it'll be worth it. It's all good. I'm not trying to complain. I sound like a complainer. I'm just saying, I don't know. Gotta work hard. They're stealing my money. The more you make, the more they take. Someone said, I loved your Common Sense Censored t shirt. I know I just did laundry and I had that one. That was a cool one. Think of it as a limited edition. We'll get some new designs, but if you got an old one, someone said, funny that your banana speaks to you. Yeah, that well, I get the organic bananas. So if you get the regular bananas, you know, like the GMO bananas that are huge because they like injected it with all this crap, those bananas have no voice, right? They've been masked since they were children. They forgot how to speak. You get like a real organic banana, you know, they're like, eat me. You know, and if your banana's not talking to you at least 3 times a week, then it's not organic. Trust me. By the way, this is a joke and a parody. I don't feel like getting fact checked. It's like fact check. Snopes said, you know, bananas cannot talk, you know, and Buzz Aldrin was not an alcoholic. And it's like, okay, I'm sorry. I was just kidding. Got to be very clear on these platforms because they have like AI algorithms. It's hard to tell if their algorithms are just like left wing extremists. Speaking of extremists, now, did anybody see? It's kind of a weird watch, and I don't want to watch it again. I'm not trying to be mean, but Matt Walsh from Daily Wire, who I'm starting to really like, he kind of cracks me up. He's funny without even trying to be funny, but he was debating 2 transgenders, and it's fascinating because my takeaway from the whole thing, he did a Dr. Phil episode with 2 transgenders, and you know he's talking about gender. And the fascinating part was he was like, "What does it mean to be a woman?" Right? There needs a woman is a word like, you know, this is you know, this is a speaker, right? If I said, oh, a speaker's whatever you want it to be, it's like, then is this a speaker? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a dictionary, this is a speaker. Like, words need to mean something. If we don't agree on what a woman means, I mean, I'm not going to say you're right, but I understand as long as you have a definition, you're like, a woman can have any genitalia, but you know, a woman is trying to be feminine or whatever. That would be even better than the answer that they gave. I'm not saying it's correct, but they couldn't on Dr. Phil, the transgender woman or man, or you know, they, them to be safe. They couldn't describe what a woman was. He was like, say anything. And they're like, no, it could be whatever you want. What do you mean it could be whatever you want? He's like, oh, it's whatever you want it to be. And it's like, and Matt Walsh, like, if it's whatever you want it to be, then how are you trying to be a woman or how are you trying to be a man? If it doesn't mean anything, then what are you trying to be? You know, like it's like men who turn into women or try, you know, they're trying to be more feminine. They, you know, take estrogen and try to grow tits and stuff. And it's like, you know, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying at least say that. Be like, I'm trying to be more like this. These people couldn't even say anything. And really the big the big takeaway from this is not, oh, you're being mean or oh, whatever. It's they're destructing the English language. A word has to mean something or it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? If there's no man and there's no woman, how are you a transgender? Man to woman, woman to man. If there is no woman, then you can't transition to anything. You're just nothing. And that's what these people are. They're intellectually nothing. And they're deconstructing words to mean they don't even know. Okay, then why are you growing a beard if you're a woman? Why don't you want to be a man? What's a man? Whatever I want it to be. It's like, then nothing is nothing. This is a clown. Hey, this is a clown. You know, this isn't the Holy Bible. This is Buzz Aldrin going to the moon. You know, it's like, let's just play patty case and not do anything. Let's sit around all day and write op-eds for Huffington Post about, you know, Christmas movies and how they hurt your feelings because, you know, you thought maybe it's like, you know, here's why Rudolph is a black Hebrew Israelite, you know, Donna Junowitz. And you're like, you think what? I don't know. You know, I got yelled at by a black Hebrew Israelite and Rudolph yelled at me. So maybe he works for Farrakhan. You're like, no, it's, you know, it's like, just stop, you know, just stop already. We need people to do something. Thank you to the truckers in Canada. You know what truckers do? They drive trucks. Do you know why? Not for fun. They do it because they're doing service. They provide value to the world. I need stuff. You need stuff. I need food. You need food. Truckers drive food so we can eat food. What do? What value do you bring to the world? I deconstruct words so nobody knows what anything means anymore. You're not helping anything. Do something valuable. If you're going to do news analysis, do it. If you're going to do comedy, be funny. If you're going to do journalism, add value in your journalism. Don't just, compare like the Frosty the Snowman to, Louis Farrakhan. I'm joking about that, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, stop. These people are like, oh, Matt Walsh hurt my feelings. Now I can't sleep at night. It's like, you went on the show. If you have anxiety issues, don't go on Dr. Phil. I surely wouldn't go on Dr. Phil, and I don't have anxiety issues, but you go on these things, you can't define the word that you're saying you are. You embarrass yourself because it doesn't make any sense. So what do? You go around people who just tell you that you're right. And it's like, it's not healthy. I was talking to someone today about this they, them, he, her, him, her, like what, like she was trying to figure out like, what does this mean? Like, why are like, I'm trying to figure out what this is. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't even understand really. And it's like really what it is like in general, there's certain people that are changing their gender. So instead of just telling people, like, for instance, say I have long hair or a woman looks manly or something, there have been times in history before they, them, he, her, him, her, whatever. There have been times in history where you go into work and they're like, hey, can he get that? And it's like, I'm a she, it's like a manly woman. And like, instead of making the whole workforce change their rules to make you feel better, you just corrected the person. Like if somebody saw me from the back and thought I was a woman, it might be a little embarrassing. Sure. It might be a little like rude, but it's your job to be like, no, I'm a man, I'm a woman. And then people would be like, oh, mistakes have been made for the past hundreds of years with genders because certain people honestly look like androgynous sometimes. But now it's like there's a very small percentage of people who are offended when somebody misgenders them. So now instead of just being like a normal person and saying, hey, I prefer to be called her, and then most people would be like, sure, that's fine, whatever. Nobody really would care. Most people, not everybody is like a Daily Wire employee. Most people at jobs don't give a crap. They're just like, whatever. If you were like, call me here. Yeah, fine. Okay, you're that. Whatever. That's fine. Now go back to the grocery aisle, Donna, and stock the shelves. You're a stalker, not a professional YouTuber. This is your job. But in general, it's like instead of just correcting their boss or their employees, everybody has to play this freaking stupid game. So like 20 people feel more comfortable, but these people are never going to feel comfortable because the problem's not everybody else. It's themselves. I'm uncomfortable. Matt Walsh made me feel bad. It's like, then don't go on his show. Don't go on Dr. Phil with him. If he's going to scare you, don't talk to him. It's like blaming everyone else. You bend over backwards for these people and then it's never enough. I did the article, my last video on Instagram and Facebook. M&M's changed they're inclusive. Weren't M&M's always inclusive? They were always like rainbow colored. And by the way, look up red dye, yellow dye, like these dyes. This is the big scandal with Skittles, M&M's, etc. They're dyeing their food and it's gross. But anyway, they're okay. Oh, the orange one's anxiety. And, I think that's a pander to my generation because a lot of kids have anxiety now. Why do a lot of kids have anxiety? Because too many kids are taking Adderall and pharmacy pills. Too many kids are smoking weed and they don't realize that can raise anxiety in the wrong situations. Too many people have no social skills because they've been on the cell phone their whole life and they don't know what it's like to live in the real world. And also, I had a little anxiety when I was younger because life is scary. I was not as outgoing as I am now. So more people have anxiety. Instead of fixing the anxiety, you have a freaking fake chocolate company doing some sort of like, oh, let's make one of the M&Ms have anxiety too so it can fit in. And then this feminist Jewish magazine, Hey Alma, she writes this hilarious article. I feel bad. I blocked her name out because I don't want people to make fun of her. Like I legit feel bad for these people, but she publicly wrote it. It's not like I'm being mean. She wrote the article to be read. I read it. And the article's like, I feel like the orange M&M is a Jewish because I have anxiety and all my feminist Jewish friends have anxiety. So I feel like this might be like kind of anti-Semitic. And I'm like reading the article. It's so funny because it's so bad. And I feel so bad reading it because I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, what the hell are you talking about? M&M's made the anxiety one to make people with anxiety feel like they're part of the group, like this small group of people, like, oh, I feel left out because there's no anxious Eminem, like nobody ever said, but they do it to pander to crowds like these women, these liberal women. And then they write an op-ed, like basically accusing them of anti-Semitism because they feel like the orange M&M's Jewish because it reminds me of themselves. You can't write this stuff, but you can write this stuff, and they do write this stuff. But it's like, what the hell? Like, why would you pander to these people? You're pandering to this small minority of like left-wing people that have issues that are so much bigger than everyone else's fault. It needs to be a self-accountability thing. It's like, yes, anxiety sucks, and if there's people in your life causing anxiety, your boss, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your parents, whatever, then you might have to, switch it up and move out. But in general, maybe it's you, maybe it's like a thing that only you could solve. Matt Walsh can't take rid of your anxiety. M&M's can't solve your anxiety. Like, people need to figure out where it's coming from and take a hold of it instead of constantly, like, LinkedIn is like bragging on television about pronouns. It's like, it's just so crazy. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, this is deconstructing the English language. Everybody's bowing down to a small group of people, and they're not even happy about it. The more you do, the more they're not happy, because happiness doesn't root from LinkedIn making you feel good. If you feel so bad about yourself that the only way you feel good about yourself is if LinkedIn does a him commercial, then there's a bigger problem here. Like, LinkedIn and M&Ms are not going to make you feel better. Like, people need to be honest about it. And I want to help people. It's just like, I'm not going to get my self-worth through like a Toyota commercial or an Audi tweet. It's like, it's so crazy, but it is really funny for all the wrong reasons. Like, if I read the full article, it's hilarious. It's like, I'm tempted to read it right now, but I also feel bad because I don't want people to be mean to these girls. Like, I feel horrible, but it's like, they're publicly writing articles that they want to be read. So I read them, and it's sadly hilarious, but I don't know. If people want me to read it, I will. It's just, I kind of feel bad. I don't know. Someone said, please check out US code 336BBB33. I'll check it out. Should I read it? I feel bad, but it is really funny. Someone said the protest is worldwide right now. It is worldwide. It's been worldwide in a lot of places, but a lot of places are forcing mandates, and it's getting bigger. Read it? I don't know. I feel bad. No, don't read it. We'll see what Facebook says. I'm gonna leave it up to Facebook. Someone said Eminem, something about tranny M&Ms. I don't know what you said, but I don't think there is a transgender Eminem, and I think that's kind of a problem. I thought it was a funny joke. Maybe it wasn't a funny joke, but I said on Twitter the other day, I was like, I've never seen a black transgender woman go to the moon. Um, you know, is NASA racist? We should defund NASA. And it got like thousands of retweets, and everybody's like, yeah, defund NASA. I thought that was hilarious, but not everybody thought it was funny. But I was like, when's the last time you saw a black transgender woman go to the moon? Never. NASA's seeming a little racist. Time to defund them. I feel like, as much of a joke as that is, it could literally catch on. Like, I'm not even joking. If it gets big enough, people like NASA will come out and they're like, we're so sorry. We realize we've never sent a transgender woman to the moon. So RuPaul will be going to the moon next year. Like, if that happened tomorrow, people would text me, dude, Anomaly, remember that joke you made about NASA not sending black transgenders to the moon? Like, they're going to send RuPaul to the moon. Like, I wouldn't even be like shocked. I would be like, yeah, sure. Like, it wouldn't even like blow my mind. People are like, dude, isn't that crazy that happened? I'm like, no. Like, it's just like normal now to me. I don't know. It's not a big deal. Find me a commercial that's like right leaning or somewhat normal 5 years ago, and I'll be shocked. Like, that's shocking to me when things are actually normal now. Someone said artificial lemon flavor. Can enjoy it. All right. I don't know. I don't know about that, so I don't want to read it because I believe you, but I do want to check it out before I like read health and nutrition stuff. Someone said bananas are good for anxiety. I got one banana left. I'm not above eating. I like banana, a little almond butter. You know what I'm saying? I like a little smoothie situational. All right, one or two more. Where are we at? 6:42. Someone said, "Read it, please." Someone said, "This guy's nuts," said Brian. I'm nuts or someone else is nuts? I'm funny, but I don't know. I'm charismatic. I'm I guess you could say I'm nuts. I don't care. What's my favorite preferences for chocolate companies? Um, I mean, I'll eat chocolate here or there, but honestly, like once you start learning about these ingredients, you're like, what are you doing? So, I buy organic cacao sometimes. I like coffee, so I'll make a coffee, mix in some organic cacao, mix in some cinnamon. You know, chocolate's good, but like dark cacao is good. You read the ingredients on like the CVS candy they sell you, it's garbage. They have all this crap in there. So I think Justin's makes peanut butter with better ingredients. They're not perfect, but Justin's peanut butter, cups are okay. I've been healthier this year. Like last year, I was eating chips a lot, eating peanut butter cups. Now I'm not. Nutella. No, I like the taste of Nutella, but even Nutella's got questionable ingredients. I don't know. I'm more like this year. I'm not really snacking that much. I'm not having desserts. I'm trying to get more jacked this year. I'm trying to play multiple sports. I'm trying to get in peak condition, but it's not. Someone said you're passionate but far from nuts. Thank you. I don't mind if someone calls me nuts though. That doesn't like bother me. I think that's funny. Someone said I grind peanuts for peanut butter at the market. Yeah, that's epic, but it's just harder to do, but it's worth it if you can. I kind of want to read the article, but I don't want to get in trouble because it's hard to talk about anything Jewish because everybody calls you an anti Semite. I literally tweeted this because it's like an actual article. I just tweeted the article and someone's like, "You're starting to seem really anti Semitic." I'm like, how, how is it not funny to talk about this article? It's like, if if anybody was like, the orange M&M reminds me of myself, and it's like, it's just funny. Just stop. So what about the facial recognition by the IRS? I didn't hear about that, but not surprising, I guess. I don't know. They need your face to take your money. Don't they have enough? They need your face now. They need to scan your face to steal your tax money. The IRS is out of control. If I was president, I would change the IRS. What else? Let's think of things that IRS could stand for instead of Internal Revenue Services or whatever. It could be like, imaginary imaginary monkey sanitizers. If I was president, I would change the IRS into the imaginary monkey sanitizers, and I'd put them in Washington, and I would just leave them in a room, and they could, clean up imaginary monkeys. That would be more beneficial to our country. Hungry Jack said you're getting beta, bro. Yeah, Hungry Jack, you're so alpha, bro. Yes, sir. You're the man. I gotta get more jacked than you, bro. Tell me how to be an alpha, Hungry Jack. Do I name myself after Pancake Mix? Is that how I get more alpha, Hungry Jack? Do I have to make a YouTube name and name myself after Pancake Mix? Is that what alphas are doing now? Sitting in Anomalies chat, you know, being pancake guy, Captain Pancake over here. You're getting beta now, bro. I'll teach you how to be alpha. You follow me, bro. You'll be an alpha in 5 minutes, dog. Someone said, Anomaly, where's your visor mask? I missed that. It's right here. Listen. I'm a big space guy. I'm a big NASA guy, so I always got my space helmet's only one. I keep it within 5 meters in case I got to go to the moon. Someone said, Trumpster's mad at Anomaly. All I wanted was a letter or a call. I hope you ripped all your pictures off the wall. Are you making that into a song? Did you just turn that into like a Nickelback song or something? That went over my head, but I don't know what song that was, but it seemed funny. Someone said it doesn't look very beta. Well, thank you, Corey, but you're calling me it. He's like, yo, it doesn't look very beta. I'm like, are we being politically correct? You don't want to call me he now? I'm an it. No, it's all good. I don't care. Was that a Stan reference? Yeah, I think that's where it's from, the Eminem song. It's like, all I wanted was a letter or a call. I hope I know. I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I don't know what song that was, but it's okay. Someone said, how is art used as a loophole for the rich, but we can't use CRNMO? I don't know what that means, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how art is used as a loophole for the rich, but oh, Stand by Eminem. Okay. Yeah, I screwed up the melody. Sorry, bro. You got to give me a different tune. I think most people who like Trump are starting to like get less mad at me. I don't know. I haven't been talking about it much. I do think though that this anti-mandate protest took so long because he's kind of the catch of the town, and he was running around the country selling vaccines for 2 years, and now finally Robert Malone stepped up as a leader. I do want to say that on that note, like, people need a leader sometimes. Of course, you should look to God, but people need political leaders, religious leaders, social leaders. Like, leaders change the world, right? So Trump was the leader. That's why I was giving him so much crap, because he's this huge leader, and he's to me, he's like a merry, like, Pied Piper. He's running in circles being like, the election, me, my crowd sizes, Operation Warp Speed, I'm vaccine man, I saved the world, and everyone's like, yeah, and everyone's like running in circles around Trump. And for 2 years I'm here doing this reporting. I'm like, have people on the right lost their minds like the left? Like, are we not going to talk about the mandates? Are we not going to talk about the medical tyranny and the lockdowns? So it's like, the reason that this protest took so long is because there's other countries don't have a Trump. Other countries know that no one's coming to save them. So then somebody arises like a Robert Malone and starts leading the country. In America, we had goofy Trump for 2 years marching the Pied Pipers in circles. And finally, Robert Malone had a sick podcast. Trump didn't organize this. He organized the PSYOP setup event that got everybody in trouble to prevent this event. So, I hate to put on the pressure, but this is why I've been putting on the pressure, because it's like, at a certain point, he's doing way more damage than good, unlike his first 3 years. And, it's nice to see that somebody else picked up where he left off. Like, Ron DeSantis is running laps around him, Robert Malone, Joe Rogan. These are the leaders of the country right now. Ron DeSantis, in my opinion, is the moral leader against medical tyranny in the Republican Party. Robert Malone is the moral leader against medical tyranny just in the world. And then Joe Rogan is the media person against medical tyranny. Like, Trump is not really a leader for this category. He's kind of like totally oblivious and like half-assed about it. And I was just early on it. Someone said Del Bigtree. Yeah, him, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Rand Paul's doing a better job. Sure. Someone said the Del Bigtree speech was really epic. I didn't see it. I would have loved to go. It's just DC's so far away. I hate flying. Probably would have been smart to go to the Tim Pool show. I probably should have done that. Honestly, I could have gone and then gone on Tim Pool, but I don't know. I hate flying, so I'll just go a different time. I like Del Bigtree though. He seems like a stand-up guy. I like that guy. Someone said I was fat and lazy since this pandemic. Then I decided to get fit, stop playing PS4 all day, quit weed. Now I'm 22 pounds lighter, less depressed, still banned from gyms because I'm unjabbed. Hey, congratulations for losing money. I'm sorry. Don't lose money. I'm tired. Congratulations for losing weight. God bless you, my man. Way to get way too jacked for the gulag. That's how you win. We get in shape. We get fit. We don't let these losers depress us, even if they kick us out of gyms. Congratulations. Real quick before I leave, I haven't played video games my entire young adult life because I always work so hard. I'm like, I don't have time to play video games. I play too much. But now what I'm doing, I'm actually getting stronger by playing video games, because I bought an Xbox for the first time. And I was like, all right, I shouldn't buy video games, but I was like, I want to play this one game and relax sometimes. I never relax. But now what I do before I play video games, I feel bad because I'm like, dude, I don't want to become a loser and like, fall off my work and fall off my like exercise. So every time before or after I play video games, I work out for 30 minutes. I've been working out every day because I have to work out or do pull-ups or push-ups before I play or while I play. So it's actually helping me work out more, because in my head, I'm like, you can't just sit here and play video games. You got to balance it out. So I've been trying to use it for motivation. But that's enough about me. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. Chiefs, Bills, overtime. I do want to check that out and do a few things. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. God bless you guys. Appreciate it. Links in the description and bio as always. I'll have a lot more content this week. And thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Check out some of the independent journalists I talked about. Check out Robert Malone, Del Bigtree, Robert Kennedy Jr., three victims of censorship, three very interesting people. I would say listen to Del Bigtree. If you can find a speech, I'm going to listen to it. Listen to Robert F. Kennedy, always a great speaker. Can't wait to hear him. Robert Malone, these doctors. These are people that have been heavily censored, but you should hear why they've been censored, and they make a lot of sense in many ways. Someone said, be careful. You be careful. You be careful, Joe. I don't like to be told be careful. You should be careful because you're projecting onto me. I'm fine. Have a beautiful day and stop being annoying. All right. Appreciate y'all. Thank you guys. Have a good one. All right.